Okay, so February was a little bit of a mess, and I realized that my freezer meals, I went through them. So thankfully, any freezer meals I had, we used up. And that's good to kind of slim down the freezer and just make sure you're using up what you have. But now I need to replenish it, or I'd like to replenish it. So what I did last night, I got on my phone, I checked on Pinterest, and I just looked up super simple. I think I put like easy dairy-free freezer meals. And then I found some from a website that I really like, New Leaf Wellness. Okay, I know I got a weirder angle, but I was holding the tripod and I don't know why I was doing that, but you don't care. So I went on to Pinterest. I just printed it out, or I'm going to print out a couple of her recipes, and then I'm going to make some tweaks for some things. So for instance, one of the recipes is for a turkey chili, but she uses beans in it. And I have one family member, one who does not like beans at all, and then one who's trying to avoid them to see if that's what's upsetting their stomach. So I'm going to sub that for our no bean chili and use that as a freezer meal. So I want to get the freezer meals stocked back up. One, because it is super helpful for us, as we found during the crazier months, and just not even in the not crazy months. It's just nice if you want to take a night off from dinner or from mentally making decisions, just grab a freezer bag and throw it in there. The other thing is, because February was so chaotic and was such, I don't want to say it was such a trial, but it definitely presented a lot of trials for us. I would not have turned down somebody saying, hey, noticed you haven't been at church, or noticed that you're going through the thick of things. I'm going to drop off dinner for you. And so knowing that that would have been such a welcome reprieve and just a break, I want to have these freezer meals done so that we can offer that to someone else. Just as people are going through the thick of things, as things arise, as this world just keeps kind of feeling like it's getting harder, I think just sharing those little bits. Here's some paper plates for you to take the night off from dishes. Just whatever small thing you can do. My kiddos are coming upstairs because we're getting ready to get out and actually go shopping for the freezer meals. But we're gonna go do, I'm gonna print out these papers. They come thankfully with a shopping list, so I just have to go over really quick and make sure that I sub what I need to be substituting in there. And then in addition, we're also going to do our Costco like monthly trip. So that's the plan. Let's see if we can get these freezer meals done this month. What's been happening is that I've been purchasing things to make freezer meals, and then by the time we come home from like a big trip to Costco and put everything away, I'm tired and it doesn't get done. And then like last month, just things kept rolling in and I couldn't find the afternoon to get it done. The mental energy or the physical energy, yeah. So hopefully this is the month we get back to freezer meals. Let's find out. The first thing I did was start to do some of the prep work. So here I'm just making some brown sugar. If you've never made brown sugar, it's just molasses and regular sugar. And we've been doing this for a while instead of purchasing brown sugar, because you can kind of control if you want light or dark or whatever have you. And there's just 2 ingredients in it. So I'm mixing up the brown sugar for one of the recipes. Next to me was my daughter. She was shredding some carrots for me. And then we're going to chop those up in a bit. But first I'm going to label the bags for the meals that I'm going to make. As always, kitchen could use a cleanup, but we just got back from Costco, and I don't know, I'm gonna go ahead and get some freezer meals done. Normally after a trip to Costco, I'm so done and I don't want to do anything else, but I didn't want this stuff to go to waste. The TV's on in the background, so sorry about that. But what we're gonna attempt to make is 2 bags of no bean chili, 2 bags of a beef roast with carrots, a balsamic beef roast with carrots, 2 beef and veggies, and 2 lime shredded porks. That's what I came up with. After I printed out recipes, I didn't end up using all of them. And then, like I said on our Costco haul, if you saw that, we had beef stew. They had beef cut for stew. I don't know if that's the right verbiage. Anyways, that's the TV. Anyways, once I saw that, I knew I wanted to make a beef and veggie freezer meal as well. So I figure we'll start with the beef and pork meals, and then the ground turkey, the no bean one. I'm going to add everything we put in the no bean chili except for the ground turkey or ground beef. And in fact, on the bag, that's what I wrote. I don't know if that'll come up on camera, but it just says like no bean chili, add ground turkey or ground beef. And so that way we have an option, whichever we want to do, but that's already set and ready to roll. So let's get started on some of these. Will probably be a lot of music, maybe voiceover, because like I said, TV's on, but I just wanted to let you know this is what we're doing and get started. Okay, it's loud in the house when I'm filming, and it's also getting loud now that I'm trying to do the voiceover. So let's see if we can do this. That is a zucchini bag. I just shredded some zucchini and threw it in the freezer. And so I just split the contents between 2 bags. We're making 2 bags of no bean chili. And then I threw in a can of tomatoes, just diced tomatoes and their juices. That is a bag of bell peppers and onions. I love to get these as a little shortcut thing and just add it to kind of beef up meals. And so I split that between the 2. And then I'm going to show you our sweet potato. We had one giant sweet potato and I cubed it and just separated between the 2 bags. Then I'm going to get started on the next 2 meals. The next one's going to be, I think this is going to be the beef roast. So those are the carrots. I'm separating it between the 2 bags. And then I think this is like balsamic vinegar. I'll link the recipe down below for you. Putting that in, and then we're also going to use liquid aminos. That's what we use instead of soy sauce. And then we're going to throw in some minced garlic. And then I think I'm going to pop in and actually attempt to start talking instead of the voiceover. Our giant tub of honey. And then I just need to add the chuck roast. So I think I'm actually gonna add the chuck roast. No, I take it back. I was gonna put the chuck roast in, but I'm gonna put the honey in and then the chuck roast. And the reason why I'm gonna put the meat on the very top is because that way when I go and I take the bag and pour it into my slow cooker or Instant Pot, the meat is what's gonna hit the heating bin or crock pot, Instant Pot bin first. So I'm gonna put the honey in between, and it'll be in between all of this stuff. Honey is so sticky and kind of hard for me to, when I go to put it in here, it gets a little tricky. So let's see if we can do this. And just a side note, when I have honey like this that's just not gonna come off, I will usually put it like in a jar. I'm gonna do it in 2 because that's an awful lot of honey. But I will put it in a mug and then make ourselves tea so that when the hot water pours over this, we don't waste any of the honey. It's not a ton of honey, but I mean, it's more than I wanna waste. So my son and I will have a cup of tea after we're done here. The recipe called for boneless beef chuck shoulder roast. But this is what I ended up getting from Costco because it was a little bit less. This one just says beef round eye round roast. And this one was $4.89 a pound compared to I think the chuck shoulder was $5.99 a pound. So do what's comfortable for your family. I know this video has been a weird angle, but I haven't quite figured out the logistics after over a year in this kitchen. And yeah, but so I apologize. Maybe someday we'll figure it out. This is how the pork loin, this is what I ended up getting from Costco, pork loin boneless. Again, I just went with what price range was gonna work for my family and what was going to be comfortable for our family. So this is how Costco sold it in this huge long strip, and this whole thing is almost 7 pounds. So the recipe calls for 2.5 pounds. We're going to put the crock pot lime shredded pork together. This one's super simple, not a lot of ingredients, and I will try to link anything I can down below, the recipes we used. Let's just cut and see if we can get 2.5 pounds and what that looks like. For this one though, I am gonna put gloves on because my hands are already getting super dry from the constant washing. Not that I'm not gonna need to wash my hands again, but maybe this will help a little, so. Okay, and this one, all we need to do is add in honey, salt. It says to add in red pepper, but we're gonna skip that because this is gonna be a family meal. And then the juice from 2 limes. I don't have lime, but I have just the lime juice. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I didn't put any seasoning in our no bean chili. I might come back and do that. And then I ended up having 1.8 left over. So we can use that for meal prep. The honey in here. I don't like the like squeeze honey jars because I feel like you never get all the honey out, but they're handy in cases like this. For this one, since I'm not sure if the spatula hit any part of the side where the pork did, I'm not going to put this back in the cup. And the lime shredded pork is done. So we got 2 more meals completed. Awesome! So far we have 2, 4, 6 meals done, and I have a little bit of pork going left over that I'll probably end up using for like a lunch meal prep for the hubby and I. Not, oh no, look at my bag. Great value. That was not so great. I was just gonna throw the whole bag in there, but I feel like that'll make a mess when it's time to put it to cook. So I'm gonna just toss it this way. These would make, I feel like, great tacos or nachos. I mean, there's a ton you could do with it. You just serve it with rice and beans. There we go, more meals. And the last one we're gonna do is the beef and veggies. This is the beef for stew that I got from Costco. It was $4.99 a pound, so it's, I mean, everything's a little costly, right? I got a little over 4 pounds, so I'm just gonna distribute that as evenly as I can between the 2 bags. Okay, so I realized that I put the meat in first, and then the other one I said I put the meat on top so it would hit it first. But if I defrost these, it should be okay because these are a smaller cut. But also I just wanted to get the meat separated and done. So back and forth, whichever works. Sometimes we do the meat on top, sometimes we don't. Let's get the rest of the stuff in here. So this recipe I think I've made before. This is from J. Morrell Stewart, but I tweaked it again for my family. So she calls for 5 pounds of beef in each one, and I only have to about 2 pounds. It came out to about 2 pounds. I'm learning as I'm weighing these things. I mean, I kind of knew it all along, but the weight that you see on your label is not always the actual weight of the food you're getting. Sometimes it's the weight with like the juice or the weight with the pad or on the container. So just be forewarned, something that we're kind of seeing here. So it's not exact, it's close enough though. So I have about 2 pounds of beef in each one here. That's about half of what she's calling for. So she says a cup of soy sauce. So we're gonna do half a cup of soy sauce. Maybe that even seems like a lot. I was gonna do a 1/4 cup of brown sugar because hers calls for a cup, but again, I think that's gonna be too much for this. It's gonna be a little too sweet for my family. So let's do a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. For us, we use liquid aminos, but use whatever is good for you and your family. And I have this out, one for the meat, but also because I'm hoping that when I make these for dinner, I can eat them as well because I have more or less the macros counted on here. Then I'm gonna do a little less than a 1/4 cup of sugar. So I think I did like 3.5 cups or 14 ounces of veg, and I think that's gonna be good for our family. Also, when you make freezer meals, make sure you know what's for dinner that night. So, or as you're making them, maybe put one in the slow cooker instead of in the freezer bag so that you can be cooking while you're prepping, because we'll get to the end and I'll be like, I made 8 meals today. And my husband's like, great, what's for dinner? And I got nothing. So either have an easy dinner, maybe a lasagna popped in the oven, you know, like buy a freezer lasagna also, pop that in the oven, have it ready to roll. Buy a pizza, or like I said, do one of these ready in the oven for you, or ready in the slow cooker Instant Pot. I mean, come on, lady. Okay, I don't have that much veggie left, so I think I'm gonna put 15. Can you see? There's like hardly any left. So I think I'm just gonna split it between the two, so it'll probably end up being like 15 ounces of veg for both. Okay. And I did tweak the recipe too. Hers calls for, you know, just broccoli. I went ahead and used Normandy veg. She also has cornstarch on here. You can add the day of cooking, but as with all these recipes, I tweaked them for my family. Okay, here's all the freezer meals done, along with a little bit of mess that I gotta clean up that's on the table here. It's not too bad. We got 2 bags of no bean chili. You just have to add the protein in. You could do it vegetarian and just have it like that, but I know we're gonna add protein in. 2 lime shredded porks here, and then 1 pork tenderloin left over. I have 2 balsamic beef roast and carrots, and then 2 beef and veggies. So what's that? 2, 4, 6, 8 meals done, plus pork roast left over. That's gonna do it for me today. I'm kind of competing with the TV again. I'm sorry for the bad camera angles too, but as always, if you don't know or you just need to be reminded, maybe the one to tell you you are deeply and truly loved and so appreciated. I appreciate you sticking out with me and watching this. Also, I'm gonna make a couple of chicken freezer meals as well. Let me know down below if you want to see when I get those done. I'll try to remember and turn the camera on, but I'm gonna do like a meal prep for my husband and I with like a chili kind of chicken. I think it's called red pepper chicken. And then I'm gonna also I want to do a teriyaki chicken. So I also need to make those. Thanks so much again for hanging out with me and getting this done.